Team up. The simplest and most underrated way to play better at Mass Effect 3. This game is all about teamwork. Building unity and cooperation is central in the Mass Effect stories. It's central to the multiplayer too. Last video, we learned the danger of getting attacked from behind or the side, getting flanked. We learned how to use soft cover and movement to avoid that and keep enemies in front of us to control the fight. But things are more complicated with a team. Our teammates are moving around too, and enemies are moving with them. It's all a bit chaotic. If a group of 4 is spread out, enemies get in between them. This means getting flanked or surrounded, and it cuts everyone off from help. It also limits enemy spawn locations to places in between players, keeping the cycle going. And with enemies potentially in every direction, there's less places to run. But being on a team is strong. We get more combos, we get shared benefits of debuffs and crowd control, concentrated firepower. Honestly, there's too much to list for this video. So we need new tactics to get the benefits without the mess. The goal is the same as last time: control lines of sight, keep enemies in front of us, control the fight. The first step is simple: stay together. When the group stays together, the directions enemies attack from are limited and predictable, and we can put something even better than cover between us and enemies: guns. Everyone can watch each other's flanks, guarding every direction at once. No one gets surrounded, everyone is easier to help or revive, enemies spawn further away, making the fighting less intense. And there's other benefits too. So stay together. What does that look like? Well, we still want the kind of good positioning we learned about last video. Walls for soft cover, limited access, still multiple access, otherwise it's a dead end and we know why they're called that. Vantage points so we can see enemies coming, and some room to maneuver. So look for a teammate in a decent position and with predictable movement, get on their flank, and keep enemies from getting behind them. We don't have to be right next to them, a little space is good. The other side of the room, maybe the next room, or even down the hall, that's fine. We just need to be close enough that enemies can't get between us. So guard paths that lead between teammates, and to prevent spawns, stay close enough that there's no rooms between teammates that no one can see. Now, we can watch multiple directions at once and help keep each other from being flanked or surprised. Everyone benefits. If we're watching their back, they're watching ours, even if they don't mean to. Even 2 teammates covering each other creates some safety and stability. Some players will naturally stick with a group, others will gravitate towards a group if they're pressured or threatened by stronger enemies. We won't get everyone, some people are determined to go it alone. In a cooperative game, yeah, I don't get it either, but it doesn't matter. You don't need everyone to get the benefits. Find the people you can work with and stay together. With good team positioning, everyone has their flanks or sixes watched by somebody else. Enemies are limited to frontal attacks and can't push you out of position by flanking. You'll spend less time protecting yourself and more time killing enemies. This is very powerful. We may be forced to choose sometimes between a good position and staying near the team, but that's less of a problem than you might think. A position that's normally only decent at best can be a lot stronger with a team. Your position as you stay near the team can be flexible and fluid. Just staying together makes the position stronger. We still need to avoid wide open ground, especially in low areas. Remember, don't die. So we cross bad positions quickly, we fight from good positions with soft cover, and we always have an escape plan, which brings us to movement. As the team moves, we'll need to move with them. We need to be flexible because a group tends to move organically, which is another word for messy. If others are already moving a direction, we'll need to follow along, and if we want to move, we can try leading the way a little and hope that others follow. Remember that we don't need a tight formation to watch each other's backs. Covering the approach to each other's backs is enough. Just stay close enough to help and keep enemies from getting in between, and of course, stay close to the edge of the map if you can. Teams can often move very aggressively, pushing through enemies. That can keep enemies spread out and weak the same way kiting does. But moving too fast leaves the team spread out in a thin line, vulnerable to getting cut off or disorganized, and going too slow can let enemies build up. So we still need to cross open ground quickly, then slow down and fight at better positions while we regroup. Awareness is always critical, especially for teamwork. To stay with the team, we need to know where they are and what they're up to. We also need to know where enemies are and where they're going, and these things are always changing. The obvious thing to do is look around. At a glance, you can see your teammates through walls. If you're at a good vantage point, you can see a large area easily too. Listening is extremely underrated. We hear all sorts of things that we can't see. Good listening is like radar. Most enemies make noise, and if we pay attention, we can track them through walls by listening. Our allies make noise when they fight. Keeping an ear on sounds of battle is a huge boost to our awareness. If good listening is like radar, then great listening is like witchcraft. It is possible to see the future, to know what's coming before it happens. We need a scanning pattern. Ideally, with good team positioning, our back is covered, but things happen. We need to check our 6 and our teammates' condition regularly. Every 6 to 10 seconds, we should take a quick look around. Did enemies get behind us? Is our team still around? Are all of the approaches still covered? We can turn this into a rotation. By pivoting from one vantage point or approach to another, checking for enemies, we'll have excellent awareness of the larger picture. As long as we don't leave any approach for too long, flanks will still be protected and enemies won't get through. This rotating through critical areas also helps when teammates leave their posts or get swarmed. We'll always find where we're needed, and we'll get there before it's out of control. This lets us act instead of react. We can intercept enemies before they surprise us. We can kill them or at least slow them down and make some noise to alert our teammates. Our biggest enemy here is tunnel vision. Helping teammates deal with a flood of enemies is good, but never forget the larger picture. If you've been focused on one spot for 20 seconds, take a break and look around, or at least listen. If the whole team is firing the same direction, that's when you know you need to stop and check the flanks. Awareness keeps us alive. Surprises kill. And that's the basics. We need to stay together. We need to watch each other's backs. We need awareness, constantly scanning for teammates and enemies. Simple enough, right? Let me demonstrate. Here's a game with random strangers and no communication. I lucked out and got an all-biotic team, but we're facing collectors on Glacier Hazard. It's a tiny, claustrophobic map, and the hazard only makes it more so. There's harder enemy and map combinations, but on gold and with strangers, this will be challenging. And keep in mind, this video isn't me showing off my skills. This is a demonstration of strong teamwork. I'm staying with my team, I'm watching our flanks, I'm checking approaches and staying aware so we're never surprised. The team is almost in a dead end right now. The path to the stairs and the middle hallway is our only escape, and the team has less cover from this side. So I'll look around a bit, but mostly I'm guarding this weak point. I get up close to this Praetorian so it will land, and I resist the urge to fall back towards my teammates. Those lasers in the narrow hall could easily hit several players and trap the team. Better to make it fire the other direction and hopefully lead it away. Someone goes down, so I'm going to check on my team, and they've moved, so I'll pivot their direction to stay close, but I really want to finish off this Praetorian. Another down, so I'm going to check even more. They're fine, it's under control. Take a look to be sure, and then I'm going to go back and watch their 6. I don't see that my team is moving on, so I get separated. This wave is wrapping up though, so it's not really a problem. So, a lot of people don't know this, but in some tribes, young Asari are sent out on a rite of passage. They must hunt and kill a space crab with their bare hands. This Asari has done that. She has Embrace and Eternity tattooed on her knuckles. We can't see it, but that Praetorian does, and now it knows fear. Watch our adept demonstrate the ancient traditional martial arts of her people. Truly, the power and grace of an Asari commando is a spectacle to behold. Praetorians are nothing before such skill. No space crab is gonna eat this brain. Next, we have an assassination objective. General Cannoli is really smart with that missile. Killing the target along with another enemy of a different type can change the type of target. Cannoli's killed the target Praetorian along with a Scion, and now the target is a Scion. I'm focused hard on the objective, but I'm also worried that we're all facing the same direction, so I'm listening carefully to our left flank and hoping for the best. So that's the first place I'll look when I'm free. I can see the target is on the docks, but I know all three of my teammates are on it. That means I'm needed here to protect their back. I'm gonna carefully delay these Praetorians before I follow the team. If I killed them, they'd respawn, maybe someplace bad. This way they're kept here, out of our way and off our backs for a while. With our backs clear for now, I'm gonna help push through these enemies fast and give us some space to fight, because I know those two Praetorians will catch up to us. When they do, we don't want to be sandwiched between them and other enemies. We'll want space to fight and maybe more space to fall back. So I'm keeping an eye on those stairs, we might need them. The combination of hazard bugs and Praetorian lasers can drop multiple people at a time. Very dangerous situation. So I'm clearing an escape route and giving my team one less person to revive. If they follow, I helped the team up the stairs to safety, and if they don't, I kept us from complete loss by staying alive. I feel bad leaving. If I'd stayed to fight, the Praetorians might have died quicker, but when I see a situation that dangerous, I don't want all our eggs in that basket. Clearing the escape route gave us an option and kept a possible wipe off the table. I'm confident that as long as I escaped that room, I could finish alone. Preventing the possibility of failure was the right decision. I can hear enemies on the dock, but I'm not just going to run in there. I'll set a little trap, but I'm watching my team and moving with them. Cannoli is doing a great job playing an N7 Fury, and that's a better character for leading the charge. Also, I've noticed that while the whole team is excellent at staying together, they're not as great at watching their own backs, so I'm being extra vigilant to make up for it. I'm always checking our back and keeping enemies from surprising us, which is extra important for abominations. I still check in on the team, but we don't want everyone facing the same direction, so I stay on our 6. Now I'm working with 2 teammates. That means one is probably still behind me. Since they're not firing past me, they must be watching our back, and I can hear them doing that. Also, the wave seems to be winding down, so I'll keep my eyes ahead. When the hazard bugs come, I spread out so they don't hit us both. I'm gonna deal with the threat before I try to revive so we don't both go down. I neutralize the abominations and clear the area because abominations are really bad when we're clustered together like this. And this wave is in the bag. It's no surprise because this team stays together and that makes everything go smoother. Well, mostly. I mean, that's just a hiccup. This game is still textbook. Okay, mistakes were made, but not too many. That little gear used through Wave 11 on Gold Collector's Glacier Hazard with random strangers and this humble equipment? I'll stand by those results. We delivered a decisive win because we stayed together, we watched each other's backs, and we were always aware of what was happening around us. We were lucky to be so united. Most games have someone who doesn't work with us, but we get teamwork by doing teamwork. And it's extremely powerful. almost like the game was made with teamwork in mind. Thanks for watching, and next time you play, team up!